Imagine discovering that the foundation of a faith embraced by billions has concealed a provocative secret for centuries. In the 2nd century, a man named Marcion sparked one of the most controversial debates in Christian history. He declared that the God revered by the Church, the Creator described in the Old Testament, was not a loving Father but an oppressive force that sought to control humanity. Could this bold claim be true? And if so, how might it transform everything we believe about God? Marcion's radical theology presented a stark dichotomy. He argued that the Creator God, responsible for acts like flooding the earth, ordering the death of Egypt's firstborn, and demanding human sacrifices, was a malevolent and vengeful being. In contrast, Marcion believed Jesus came from an entirely different deity, a higher unknown God who embodied pure love and compassion. This transcendent God, he claimed, sent Jesus to liberate humanity from the chains of the Creator's judgment. If this idea intrigues you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join our community for more thought-provoking discussions. Let's dive deeper. Marcion's interpretation painted Jesus as a revolutionary figure, a messenger from a higher realm who introduced principles like forgiveness, loving one's enemies, and breaking free from fear. For Marcion, these teachings were not in harmony with the violent and punitive nature of the Creator God. Instead, they revealed a spiritual rebellion against the oppressive order imposed by the Creator. This bold theology resonated with many. Historian Bart D. Ehrman highlights how, by the late 2nd century, Marcion's movement had grown to rival other Christian sects in certain regions. His teachings forced early Christians to wrestle with profound questions about the nature of God and the role of Jesus in their faith. These ideas didn't stop at theology. They also reshaped practice. Marcionite communities stood out for their emphasis on equality, peace, and purity. They adopted pescatarian diets, embraced nonviolence, and granted women leadership roles, radical actions in the patriarchal society of the time. Their way of life reflected their belief in the higher God's love and mercy, standing in stark contrast to the fear and submission associated with the Creator God. This dichotomy between the Creator and the higher God posed profound challenges to traditional belief. The early church deemed Marcion a heretic, launching fierce opposition against his ideas. Figures like Tertullian and Irenaeus wrote extensively to refute his teachings, accusing him of distorting the faith. Church authorities worked to suppress Marcion's influence, banning his writings, condemning his followers, and consolidating doctrine to maintain control. Yet Marcion's vision of faith was not easily extinguished, despite the concerted efforts of the early church to suppress it. His revolutionary ideas endured, finding echoes in ancient texts like the Gospel of Judas, a controversial document discovered in the 1970s and later translated in the early 21st century. This gospel offers a startlingly different narrative of Jesus, his teachings, and his mission, inviting us to rethink deeply entrenched beliefs. In the Gospel of Judas, Jesus reveals truths that were hidden from the other disciples, sharing his divine knowledge with Judas Iscariot, the one follower he deemed capable of understanding. Far from being a traitor, Judas is portrayed as an integral part of Jesus' mission. According to this text, Judas' act of handing Jesus over to the authorities was not an act of betrayal but a sacred duty, allowing Jesus to shed his physical body, which was tied to the corrupt material world created by the lower, flawed deity, often referred to as the Creator God. This radical interpretation reframes Judas not as a villain but as a trusted confidant, chosen to assist in Jesus' ultimate liberation. The text suggests that Jesus' death was a necessary step to transcend the limitations of the material world and to align with the higher God, a being of infinite love, purity, and compassion, wholly separate from the wrathful Creator described in the Old Testament. In one striking passage, Jesus refers to the Creator as your God when addressing the other disciples, drawing a clear distinction between himself and the deity they worshipped. This division challenges traditional Christian teachings, which often depict Jesus as the obedient son of the Old Testament God. Instead, the Gospel of Judas aligns with Marcion's vision of a higher unknown God, a divine source untainted by the flaws and violence associated with the Creator. These revolutionary ideas invite us to question the very foundation of faith. If the Creator God is not the ultimate source of divine love and light, then what does this mean for the Bible, which has long been regarded as the authoritative Word of God? Could the sacred text be a complex amalgamation of truths and distortions, designed to obscure the existence of a transcendent God who seeks to liberate humanity from fear and oppression? Marcion sought to answer these questions through his groundbreaking work of compiling the first Christian canon. Unlike the broad collection of writings recognized today, Marcion's canon consisted of only 11 texts, a condensed version of the Gospel of Luke, known as the Evangelicon, and 10 abridged epistles of Paul, grouped as the Apostolicon. He excluded texts that glorified the Creator or contradicted the nature of the higher God of love and salvation. Marcion's intent was not simply to create a shorter version of the Bible, but to craft a theological framework that clarified Jesus' mission as one of liberation from the Creator's domination. By drawing a sharp distinction between the punitive God of the Old Testament and the merciful higher God revealed by Jesus, Marcion offered a vision of faith centered on love, forgiveness, and spiritual awakening. Despite relentless opposition, Marcion's legacy persisted. Church authorities, including Tertullian and Irenaeus, fiercely denounced his teachings, branding him a heretic and condemning his writings. Yet Marcion's influence continued to resonate, challenging believers to grapple with the fundamental nature of God and the purpose of Jesus' mission. The Gospel of Judas further amplifies Marcion's radical ideas. It presents Jesus as a guide to a higher truth, offering a path beyond the constraints of fear and judgment. This text portrays a Jesus who calls his followers to transcend the material world and embrace the boundless love of the hidden God. In another compelling moment, Jesus laughs at the disciples' prayers to the Creator, viewing their worship as misguided and rooted in ignorance. This stark critique of traditional devotion aligns with Marcion's portrayal of the Creator God as a tyrant whose rules and judgments keep humanity in spiritual bondage. The implications of these teachings are profound. They challenge us to move beyond conventional religious frameworks and to seek a deeper, more personal connection with the divine. If the Creator God is not the ultimate source of love, then perhaps the true essence of faith lies in aligning with the higher God, a being who embodies compassion, equality, and liberation. Marcion's movement, with its emphasis on peace, nonviolence, and equality, offers a blueprint for a transformative spirituality. His communities embraced values that were revolutionary for their time, promoting leadership roles for women, advocating for ethical purity, and rejecting fear-based worship. These practices reflected their belief in the higher God's vision of love and justice, standing in stark contrast to the punitive systems associated with the Creator. As we rediscover texts like the Gospel of Judas and revisit the forgotten teachings of Marcion, we are invited to embark on a journey of spiritual awakening. These ancient revelations call us to question not just the identity of God, but also the purpose of our own faith. If you've ever felt constrained by traditional teachings or sought a deeper understanding of your spiritual path, now is the time to explore these hidden truths. Download Banned Secrets, The Lost Knowledge of Jesus for free through the pinned comment. This ebook dives into the suppressed teachings of early Christianity and provides insights to help you embrace a faith rooted in love, clarity, and liberation. The answers you've been seeking may lie within these forgotten teachings. Don't wait. Now is the time to uncover them and transform your spiritual journey.